starting our geometry unit. I kind of made supplemental units during this break, and I'm like, how do I name these? And I just started with G.1, G1 Geometry Lesson 1, okay? And our topic is circumference of circles. Your ICANN today, you can calculate and apply circumferences of circles. You can calculate what a circumference is, and you can use a circumference to identify missing parts. So, circumference, the definition, it's a distance around a circle. It's the distance around. It's not the inside, it's around. And when we talk about around or around a geometric region, what that really is called a perimeter. So circumference is really the perimeter of a circle. The formula that we use most typically is this first one. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. That's not the only way to write it. The other way to write it is circumference is equal to pi times the diameter of a circle. So you need to know what radius and diameter are, which I'm sure you do, but let's just have a little refresher course. Given a circle, in the center of a circle, the radius goes from the center to 1/2. Okay, radius goes from the center to 1/2, or any end point. Diameter goes from one side of the circle to an opposite side, crossing the center. It has to cross the center. If it goes from one side to another side and it doesn't cross the center, it's called a chord. A chord goes from one side of a circle to another and does not cross the center. So the diameter is really just a chord that goes through the center. Couple tidbits that you should know. Diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. That's why these two formulas are equivalent. 2 times the radius is the same as saying pi, or just kidding, diameter. And the radius would be the diameter divided by 2. It's half of the diameter. Okay? So, let's apply this. We're going to find the circumference of the circle. We're going to find it in 2 different ways. Rounding pi, and then also using the calculator's version of pi. So the first thing I do, circumference is equal to pi times diameter, or 2 pi r. I just wrote that down. You don't need to because you see the formulas. I most typically use 2 pi r, but I'm given the diameter here, right? So I'm just going to use pi times the diameter. So my circumference is equal to 4 times pi, diameter times pi. Now I'm going to round it. What do we usually round pi to?
3.14.
Nice. So this is equal to 4 times 3.14, which is rounded to 12.56. That's one way. The other way, if you use your calculator version and you go 4 pi and then hit equals, I get 12.56637061. Now I want everyone to try that, because some of your calculators need to be modified, and you'll know if you do. Some of them, when you put 4 pi, it's just going to be 4 pi. Okay, and I'm going to tell you in a second. Okay, next one. Circumference of this next circle. Do you want to use pi times diameter or 2 pi r? Which one?
Pi times diameter.
Pi times diameter is the easiest, but you can use 2 pi r. You'll get the same answer. Because here you're given 6.2 as the diameter, so the radius would be 3.1, and you could use that too. You could say then that circumference is equal to 2 times the radius times pi. which is 6.2 times pi. See what you did there? You just did more work than needed. And then this is where I rounded, 6.2 times 3.14. $19.468. That's the rounded answer. And then the actual answer is going to be 6.2 pi. And then I hit equals. And you get 19 point. It just keeps going. 4778. 7. I'm just going to say 7. I'm just going to round it to that. Okay? So we have our initial rounded and then the actual answer. Notice there is a difference. The reason there's a difference is because you rounded right away. You usually like to round at the end. Okay, I want you to do the next one. Compare with the people in your circumference.
That's very funny.
Okay, I'm going to call on students. Everyone's being quiet. I'm calling on students to tell me what to write. So here I'm going to write my circumference is equal. Kaylin, tell me what to write from here.
7.5 times 2
Times
times pi.
pi. Yep. And I just make a number 11 with a curve on top is what I do. Okay, 7.5 times 2 happens to be 15, right? 15 pi. What do we round pi to? 15 times 3.14. I don't know what that is, Emily.
It is 47.1238889.
Is that the actual?
Yeah.
Okay, nope, I just want the normal one. Is it 47.12? The initial? And then the actual is when you go 15 pi equals. And then what does the actual, Elizabeth, equal?
47.12388.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Well, I can't stop there because it's not right. Okay, there. And stop there. All right, next one. The reason I gave you the IXL that I gave you is it kind of gets you set in the mind of applying area and or circumference and finding missing dimensions. So let's say we want to find the diameter or the radius given the circumference. The first thing you do is plug what you know into the formula. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. We plug what we know in. Secondly, we're going to use 3.14 for pi, and then we're going to rewrite it. You knew it. Last we solved. So find radius if the circumference of a circle is 15.7. So here's what I know. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I know my circumference, 15.7. So I like to write 2 pi r equals 15.7. 2 times pi is 3.14. Is 15.7. That's 6.28 r is equal to 15.7. Divide. And you get 2.5. R is equal to 2.5 centimeters. Okay, working backwards. Given our area, and I'm applying algebra. Anytime you're working backwards, you're applying algebra. Okay, if the circumference is 56.5, find the diameter. Again, I just start with what I know. You could use the diameter way if you want, or 2 pi r. I'm going to do 2 pi r. So that's a formula I know. So then I know 2 pi r is equal to 56.5 So 2 times 3.14 R is 56.5. 6.28 R is 56.5. Dividing, we get 9.04. That's my radius.
Inches.
Yep. But I want diameter. So what should I do to find my diameter? Times
Double
it.
it.
Double it. Yep, so 18.08. So my diameter would be 18.08 inches. Now I went the long way, didn't I? Remember, we could say circumference is equal to pi times diameter. Pi times diameter is 56.5. That's just 3.14, right? So I could have went right away. Whoops. 56.5 divided by 3.14, and you get 17.99 approximately. It's different. Why is it different? Why do you think it's different?
Because we don't have all those numbers in the end.
Right. It's different because when you start rounding pi, it messes things up. It's all dependent on numbers that you're doing. Here I rounded pi right away and then times it by 2. Here I just right away divided by the rounded value. Anytime you round right away, you get a different answer. I would take anything with probably plus or minus one whole value. It all depends. I mean, I know if you applied it right or not. Okay? But look at the difference in the steps. I mean, which one do you want to do? I'm thinking pi times diameter would be the best way to do it. Last concept. Perimeter of irregular shapes. Remember, perimeter is around. So for finding a perimeter of irregular shapes, you just add around the shape. So you're going to find each perimeter. And then you will not solve, I'm so used to writing solve, add. Okay? Find each perimeter and then you're going to add them. Now, what's tricky about these is you have to know what the outside is. When you talk about perimeter, you're talking about the outside of a shape. So when I'm looking at this first shape, we do it in red. This shape, the outside, just looks like that, right? So I just need these 3 edges and then the outside of this circle. You guys stop. Is this a full circle or a half a circle? Half. So I'm going to take the circumference and divide it by 2 is what I'm going to do. Okay, I need to erase this so I see the numbers. Right, it looks like this would be a square. So I'm going to say the perimeter of my square would be 4, 4, and 4. Not including this top part because it's not needed. So it's going to be 12. The perimeter of my circle, remember perimeter of circle is just circumference, it's around. So my circle then looks like I'm given a diameter. Yeah, what did I do?
It should be 16.
No? It should be 12. I'm not doing this part, right? Because we're talking about the outside, and the outside only goes from there, and then the outside is that semicircle. This is the inside. Inside has nothing to do with perimeter. Perimeter is the outside of a shape, add in the outside. Okay? Okay, so my circle is going, I'm given the diameter, so it's going to be pi times my diameter, or 4 pi. 4 times 3.14, 12.56. Okay, that's a whole circle. How much of a circle do I have? Half. So I need to divide this by